Good afternoon, everybody. It's Robbie from PPG, representing Team Foe as well. I got my top four recap we're going to do real quickly. I got fourth place, almost bubbled out of the event, very close for who got top four prizing. I'll load it up in a little bit, but I get some winner cards. It's basically the only difference. We'll jump right into it. This is my deck list. I've already talked about it on the Patreon, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But this is what I ran. I'm going to jump back and forth between this, just who I played, and we're just going to recap what worked and what didn't work. Round one was Dark Brawly. I used King Piccolo on turn 2, the Unison, wherever that is. And by the way, if I'm wrong on any of these, I did play the same people a few times. I could have messed up who was when. I do apologize. But pretty sure I played this on turn 2 and went straight into this Piccolo and attacked him, got him down to like 4 life or so. And then on my turn 3, I tried to kill him with Piccolo Jr. and a few Nappas, or Nappas, depending on how you say it. As a result, he had to discard almost his entire hand to stay alive. And then the rest of the game was just grindy. I didn't have anything to combo with. He didn't have anything to combo with. But I was at such a high life from early game. I didn't take any life that I didn't have to. So I didn't have a Violent Ray, so that was unfortunate. But whenever he'd swing with his leader, I'd always combo out of it. I'd always just protect my life. And so I only took a few damage. And he kind of had a slow start. But that's what it came down to. I'd like to act like it was more for game 1. But that was it. And then at the very end of the turn, on his turn 5, I Violent Rayed him finally. Which was pretty exciting because I had just drawn it. And I had been waiting for it the whole game, as you can imagine, versus Dark Brawly. There is no better card than Violent Rays. It's always going to get you what you need. And the fact you can just turn off pretty much all of Dark Brawly's deck. It's probably the only thing keeping Dark Brawly from being the only good deck. I'll admit it, Eddie. But I just casted this on turn 6 and just went to kill him. Like, I didn't have many cards in my hand to combo. I was afraid that he would play Protector of the People. And then he did, in fact, tell me, he was like, yeah, I was going to Protector of the People you. And I think he had a Power Burst as well. So he had 2 negates. Fu just finished the game for me. Then this was a cool one. So then I took down Majin Vegeta best of 1 build. Coolest concept ever. I won't steal his whole list to tell you guys about it, but it's something you guys should consider for best of 1. He wasn't playing Majin Quickening. Instead, he had like maybe 16 Self-Awakeners, and it was just all 15k criticals. 15k double strikes. So all he was trying to do was just swing, attack with leader for that extra double strike damage. I think the whole deck was 5Ks. I don't think he ran anything besides super combos. And then the part that got me was he was playing Kai. So the Supreme Kai that Vegeta runs, he was running it just as a pseudo super combo. So that way on his final swing, he could kill everyone. On turn 3, he was able to go underneath Violent Ray. I only had 1 energy open, so he went all in. I had about 10 cards in hand. He got to 130 damage or something crazy. I, of course, rivaled in Nappa, and I just popped it with good old Champa Beers. So I felt a little bad about that one, because had he had a Cells Kamea, he would have won. But he had Champa, Furthering Destruction Champa. So got the win, felt good. Moving on, I got my butt kicked round 3. So launch requires certain cards. We talked about it before, but launch really needs me to hit these flippers. I run 12, and then on top of that, I run 4 Dispo. The purpose of Dispo is primarily there just to keep these coming back, so that way I can combo with them, bring them back, combo with them, bringing them back. It's the worst part about playing this deck is when you play a good opponent, like my round 3 opponent. I forget his name, but I've met him a few times now. He got 3rd at the last Vegas Regional. So good player, and he's playing Invoker. So you got to bring your A game. I opened no flippers, but I had a Dispo and I had a tap land. So I played as I should and kept 2 cards. Drew no more flippers off my 4 and did not draw a flipper until like turn 3. Because he's Invoker, I had nothing really aggressive. This build, although is cool, I didn't really think about Invoker. It's basically an auto loss. And he just pinged me to death using his Goku effect and just catastrophic blowed me and never let me attack. And just kept negate, and then I lost. It was pretty boring. I hate to admit it, but he got me very easily. I played Dark Brawly again in round 4 to keep the winning streak back up. That was a weird game because I feel like he made a little bit of a misplay. Not a huge misplay because it's up to how you play. But I won the dice roll. Huge factor, obviously, for Dark Brawly. He kept attacking my Piccolo Unison instead of my life with certain cards because he didn't want me to keep drawing a card every turn. But as you can imagine with Dark Brawly, it just meant it was buying me more time that when I eventually drew Violent Ray, I shut him out of the game. And on my turn 5, I finally went for it and killed him. And when I did kill him, I had been keeping one energy open for a Violent Ray, a Kaioken, and something else just to stay alive. So I was never really in danger of losing that game. But once again, it's best of 1. It's not like I did anything amazing or anything like that. It just was I went first. And against Dark Brawly, launch does a lot better if you go first. If you go second, that ability for them to start swinging very heavy on their turn 2, you can lose pretty quickly on turn 3. Then I played Baby, the Blue Baby. So this was the cool part about the deck that I think you guys should try out and what I like about it. This Piccolo Unison is $5. I don't know what the SPR is, but I'm going to trade for some and buy some because this is the way going future. I blew up everything that Baby tried to play as a counter, with the exception of the Baby Minion. So I was getting free value, which is nice. I was drawing a card, and I was still attacking with the little bit of cards I had. Piccolo Jr. put in a little bit of work, but he only got to attack once, and then he board wiped it. So he killed it with his Supreme Kai, I think it was. No, it wasn't Supreme Kai. I can't remember what effect he used, but he was able to kill my guy really easily. And then I did try some tricks against him, but I think, he lost his Unison. That's what it was. So I Supreme Kai'd him, and I took away his Unison, and then passed with like 7 life maybe, and he wasn't able to do anything on his turn 5. And then I played, I think I made him attack. I attacked with my leader. It made him play in a gate to go down to 4 energy. Once he had only 4 energy open, I played Fu for the auto win, as you can imagine. But he had negates for days. I had played Brawly Crown of Retribution on him, and I took a super combo just for the heck of it. But when he showed me that, he had Hachiyak, SCR, and just cards for days. I wanted to play Kaioken, but because he had so many negates, Kaioken was actually a dumb card to play. Because I couldn't hit, like even at 7 life, I couldn't hit all of his negates. And I didn't have any more attacks on the board. So Fu was kind of my only out. But luckily, I drew my whole deck by that point. This is where I almost lost. This was probably the worst match I had, was against Majin Vegeta. Once again, I couldn't charge red-green. That's why I'm considering cutting it for the next match. But so this was a dead card. This was a dead card. This was a dead card. And so was this was a dead card. If you notice, that's a big part of my deck, and they were all just dead. I never got to play with them because all I was doing was trying to stay alive. He played the Majin Quickening Engine, so I couldn't attack him on my turn 2, and I kept back a what appeared to be a Violent Rays. No, I did attack. That's a lie. I did attack him. When I attacked him, I purposely put into play this card. This was my plan going into it, and what I did was I played this off of Dispo, so I still had 1 energy open, and I knew that he would eventually go into whichever card he wanted. So I assumed he was going to go into Barrier and not kill my 1-drop. That was a risk I took because I didn't think he'd be that greedy, because Barrier is the right play. You can do both, but you may not have the ability to kill my drop. Sure enough, he searched out for the 3-drop who gives him card advantage, which is a good play to make. And when he did that, he played the 4-star ball, and he missed, or whatever the ball is for that deck. And he missed, he hit the proper boo, but he only got the 5-drop. So then he went straight into an EX Evolve into the 5-drop, and he attacked me. Well, that meant that his 7-drop didn't have a boo in the drop, because his 4-drop had it underneath him. So I waited till that swing. I took all the other damage and purposely went to 2 life. Once I was at 2 life, he attacked with that card. He was smart and only said 35. So I said, okay. And you got to figure this is turn 2. I'm at 2 life. Like, I did not do well against him. I don't think it went to turn 3. I'm pretty sure it was just turn 2. But it's the same concept. But then when he did it and he attacked with the 35k, I comboed the first time for the turn using a Nappa, and I shot his now 20k. Because this card says whenever I combo with it, choose one of my opponent's battle cards, it gets negative 5k for the battle. Since it's a base of 25k, I lowered it and just went pop with this Champa Beerus, and then I had a Nappa in play, and I believe at that point he was at 2 life. But those were like, I was like out of cards in my hand. He then paid 1 energy. Oh, he was already at 1. Sorry, he was at 1 life exactly at that point. And he played a Majin Vegeta without taking the life, attacked me just to see if I would like block it or anything, and he gave me another 10k. It didn't matter at that point because obviously he was just trying to put it at the bottom to hope to draw another super combo. But then during my turn, I just swung with Champa Beerus and just emptied my whole hand, which wasn't much, but it was enough to finish the game. But really cool build. Like the roulette version of Majin Quickening is one of the top contenders for this format. Like, you don't think about it, but effectively you're just guaranteeing giant board state. And he had some really cool tech I won't share, but he was able to get underneath Violent Rays and other cards. So although you're telegraphing some of your plays, I think it's a good choice going forward. Mad props to you, my 6th round opponent. And then last round, I have a Supreme Kai for trade. I played Eden. If you guys have ever played him, he's done really well at a lot of events. Great player. He was playing Meca Frieza. Mecha Frieza comes down to now having the ability to have a draw engine and not being dumb and tapping an energy on turn 1. So you want to just keep your energy open on turn 1. So I actually charged a Brawly Crown of Retribution. And from then on, it was very easy because he kept using the universe ability to draw 2, but he didn't get to put anything into play for free, which meant that on my turn 2, I wanted to play Piccolo, but I knew it was the wrong play, so I played a Demonic Origins, passed the turn after attacking with my leader. He drew 2 again, but he didn't get the value. And then on my turn 3, I dropped Piccolo, and at that point, I was able to kind of command the game a little bit. It was still hard. Like, I finished at a high life total, but high life versus Mecha Frieza doesn't really matter. Because out of nowhere, they can just, tap your whole board down, play Bergamo, ape, you're dead out of nowhere. So you can't walk into that thinking, oh, you have a lot of life, you're ahead. But another game where I really hated having red-green. As a result, I did get top 4. This is the final standings. We barely got there. If you look at this, I feel bad for the 2 players that are in 5th and 6th because they did the same as me. It's unfortunate the way that they did this. It makes sense because obviously they want a best of 1. The way it worked was off of the amount of total wins you had. I guess at the end, I'm a little bit confused on how this math works. I guess this is total points and this is our total wins. But you're going to figure this is the exact same thing. And so it's just unfortunate to say it again. So it's just the way it is, that they got no extra prizing for top 8. I feel like it'd be cool if Bandai did something for top 8, just because I could see myself bubbling in that situation a lot. Because, I was X and 1. X and 1 is pretty hard to get in a best of 1 format. Like, it's just basically who draws better. Some other factors were I was purposely keeping my super combos in my opening hand. One of the benefits to launch is you keep your life high, and so your super combo you can play early game and it won't hurt you. You should still use it defensively, and that's what I was doing, like I said, versus Majin Vegeta. I would just combo it, go to 20k, protect my life early game. Excuse me. But other decks, they can't afford to lose that super combo. I think going forward, we'll make some changes to this deck. We got PPG on Saturday. I still want to run this deck, but I also don't. There's some cards I really want to cut, and that's not the purpose of this video. It's just kind of like a quick recap. Sorry if it was a little fast, but I am exhausted, so I'm going to go rest. Thanks again for all your guys' support. I really wanted to beat somebody with this Kaioken, and it was just a 10k. So I can't say anything cool about it. I know Puna ran my same list, and he did kill people with Kaioken. So at least some